Like I did last October, I'm doing another series about the villains winning. I missed the villains from the specials last year, so I figured I would come back to do it this year. I might make this a yearly Halloween special that would obviously can't last forever, so I would eventually run out of villains to talk about. Anyway, this year, I'm going to talk about the villains from the episode of Bardock, Bardock father of Goku, plan to eradicate the Super Saiyans, and the return of Son Goku and Friends specials. Also, like I did last year, I'm generally planning to ignore all later villains, as they would mostly always defeat the previous villain. My point for making these scenarios is to explore what each villain would do if they won, not what they would do if they went against other villains. Getting killed to win is an easy task, because the change for it would be simple. Back when he and Bardock were fighting, he was about to blast and finish him off, though Barry tried to intervene and this caused Chilled to blast him instead, which led to Bardock transforming into a Super Saiyan for the first time. This time, when Barry tries to run and confront Chilled, Epona manages to stop him before he could, with Chilled's attention not being redirected. He would use his Death Razor to blast Bardock as planned, thus killing him. As for the consequences of him winning, the major change is that Chilled would get the fluid the people of Planet Plant use to heal injuries instantly. We don't normally know when his family got access to this, but with it being native to Planet Plant, it's likely they didn't get it until the Saiyans were annexed. So, with Chilled and his family having access to this far earlier, many injuries and likely even losses among his empire could be prevented. Eventually, it could even be developed into the healing pods sooner than usual, because they likely have more resources on hand to create them than the Saiyans did. A minor change is that the legend of the Super Saiyan never begins, at least not on the side of his family. The Saiyans would still have this legend, since Yamoshi likely still existed in this timeline, but the Saiyans would still believe it's just a fairy tale. Also, with Chilled being alive still, he would continue to rule over his empire, continuing his space pirate-like tactics. We don't know which of his descendants modified his empire so it wasn't just space pirates anymore and it became more of a formal empire. By extension of him being around for longer, it could take longer for his empire to make this transition. It's also hard to say if whoever became Chilled's heir in the original timeline would remain his heir in this timeline. He could end up having more children and choosing one of them as the heir instead, since he is still alive. Kind of like how Frieza was chosen as the heir to King Cold even though Frieza is the younger brother. So, King Cold, and by extension Frieza, might never be in a spot where they can rule the Empire, or they might not even exist at all. Another possibility is his Empire might not fully make the transition away from being space pirates. So, instead of the rulers later becoming more of a structured tyrant, they could always be more chaotic conquerors instead. If his empire keeps up this pirate-like structure, it would be more focused on raiding and looting planets for their resources rather than governing over these planets in the long term. This could make his empire far more unstable but also more aggressive, as they would focus on using brute force to expand instead of focusing on careful management. Since Chilled would have learned about the Saiyans because of Bardock, he might have sought them out to bring them into his empire sooner than usual. This would bring him to planet Sabala, as it would still be around at this point, but the Saiyans being forced to be under him earlier, this likely means that the planet isn't destroyed by the internal conflict that normally happens between the Saiyans and destroyed Sabala in the process, so they are forced to be united. Basically, this means that the Saiyans never had to relocate to other planets since their home planet wasn't destroyed. If the Saiyans still continued to grow stronger over time like Frieza and his men noticed in the original Bardock special, they could decide to wipe them out far earlier than usual as well. Without the Saiyans to rise up to get in their way, it might have even more of a dominant grip across the universe. Though, it would be in a more chaotic way, since with them still being space pirates, they aren't as structured. Whether anyone rises to take on Chilled and his descendants is likely a matter of time, but if any of them could defeat him is hard to say. As of now, though, he and his descendants would continue to control the universe in their own chaotic way.